There's an old salesperson's tale that swears we all, at one time or another, worked for a manager who only knew 3 words. Get 'em in. Well, if you're counting, that's really only 2.5 words because M is, of course, a colloquial contraction, but I digress. For those of us who sell high-end products, in-person appointments are our lifeblood. I'm talking about selling vehicles, of course, but hairstylists and steakhouses work by appointment or reservations too. And guess what? If people don't show up, we're all out of business. You might think appointments are inconvenient for your shoppers, but when they're executed effectively, they actually add to their comfort when they visit your store. I know if I have a reservation at a busy restaurant, I always feel like I'm a VIP when I walk in and tell them who I am. Of course, I always say I'm Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. Come on, name the movie. If you want more of your customers to show up for appointments, and you do, stick around. I'm Jon Quade, the 5-Minute Coach. In this episode, we're going to explore in-person appointments. We'll show you how to set them effectively so people will be compelled to show up on time and ask for you by name, and we'll even instruct them to call if they're running early or late. How does that sound? I used to sell cars with a guy named Paul. Paul was a nice man, but despite his years of experience, he seldom made more than 8 to 10 sales a month. Why? Well, because Paul made his living waiting on walk-in customers. Back then, before the internet, we had a pretty good flow of people walking in the showroom. The problem was when they did, you had no idea if they were in a hurry to buy or just gathering information for buying 6 months down the road. So Paul spent quite a bit of time with tire kickers to get his 10 sales. I, on the other hand, learned from some of the top performers that it's a lot easier to do business with people who ask for you by name when they come in. I asked one of my mentors, well, how do you get them to set appointments? And he simply replied, ask. This is our first, if rather obvious, key point today. If you're going to set appointments, you have to ask. It's also a good idea to give the client choices. Would this afternoon work, or would sometime tomorrow be better? Hey, even if they don't choose one of your suggested times, it lets them know you're willing to be flexible, so the appointment will be convenient for them. Once they choose a day to come in, you need to break the timing down to morning, afternoon, or evening, based on your availability. Thursday, great. Would morning or afternoon be better for you? Afternoon? Okay, how would 3 p.m. work? 3 would be just fine. Ta-da! I feel like I might say ta-da too often. Presto! You have an appointment for a specific day and time. Next, to make sure they ask for you when they come in, you need to give them your contact information. And in the event they need to ask for someone else, just substitute that person's contact info for yours. But first, you need to send them an appointment confirmation. May I text you an appointment confirmation, or would you prefer to write it down? Most people these days prefer a text, so ask to be sure you have their text-appropriate phone number. If they want to write it down instead, slowly spell your name and give them your direct contact information. Lastly, for setting appointments, you'll say this: Luis, I work by appointment, but that's for your benefit, so I'll be able to give you my full attention when you come in. So if you find you're running a little early or late, just please call me, and I'll be happy to reschedule for you, okay? The cool part about requesting they call if they're running behind is, if they do call, they are all but guaranteed to show up for the appointment. They'd never call if they were planning to stand you up. Now, I've had people who gave me fake names and phone numbers, but they still sometimes show up for appointments. One of them even told me when he showed up, he said, I just didn't want anybody calling me, so I used a fake name. I didn't care because he showed up for the appointment. But you have to ask in order to get it. Now keep in mind, these appointment setting techniques aren't just for new clients. Every client you have, people who have bought from you in the past or people who are referred to you, even friends of yours need to set appointments with you, primarily because they're much more likely to show up if they do. But there's another reason, so you don't miss them. There is nothing worse than suffering through a quiet morning, figuring it can't hurt to go someplace for a nice lunch, and then coming back to find that one of your clients showed up while you were out. I'd even rather have a tentative time than no time at all. One of our appointment asks sounds like this: I don't mind waiting for you, but I sure don't want you to have to wait for me. Let's set a tentative time. How about 3:30 p.m. tomorrow? And if something comes up that you can't make it, just please call me and I'll be happy to reschedule, okay? Get the idea? Good. Okay, let's take a look at our KLPs, or key learning points, for this course. Number 1, every conversation is an opportunity to ask for an appointment. Number 2, offer choices of appointment days and times. 3, suggest appointment times. How about 2:30? How about 4 p.m.? Number 4, text an appointment confirmation whenever possible. And number 5, set appointments with everyone. And that is it for this episode of the 5-Minute Coach. I'm Jon Quade.